Welcome back to the adventure. Preston and I are back in the garage, and we're getting ready to weld up some frame stiffeners for our XJ. And we're going to show you how you can calculate how much stronger your frame is actually going to be. Preston and I have all the frame stiffeners laid out. Sir Presto, where did we get these from?
Barnes.
Yeah, we got them from Barnes. So we're going to start with the rear stiffeners, which I believe are these ones, right, Preston?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also got front and mid stiffeners, but we're going to do those last. So while we're setting this up, we're going to show you how you can actually calculate how stiff your frame is going to be with the stiffeners. Preston, what's my day job?
Engineer.
Yeah, so I'm a structural engineer by day. So this kind of stuff is my wheelhouse. I use it all the time. You think the stiffeners will actually help?
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Preston. I think they will help. Preston and I need to get the tire out the Jeep so we can actually get to the frame, but we got a bit of an issue. Preston, what's going on?
The jack isn't tall enough.
Yeah, we got this little itty bitty jack that won't reach our lifted Jeep. We had been borrowing our grandpa's jack, but we gave that back to him. So we're in a bit of a pickle. But I think what we're going to do, I'm not thrilled about it, but I think we're going to use our trail jack. That's what we got, so that's what we're going to use. So this will be a good load test for a new bumper, because we're going to lift it from our bumper we installed a couple of videos ago.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know what is a good idea.
I have faith in our bumper and our welds. If we don't, this could hurt a little bit. Okay, I got the jack standing under so we can get the death trap out of the way. And guess what? Our bumper didn't break. Is it still straight? Yes. I had no doubts. You had doubts. I didn't doubt it. I knew we'd be alright.
Let's see. That one was extra tight then.
Yeah, that one was... That would have been a major bummer, because then we would have had to lower the Jeep back down on the ground to be able to break it free with a torque bar. After all that work to get it up.
Or we could have used PV glasses.
Yeah, that might have helped.
Or something. It doesn't have that cap. Is there a reason why it has the cap to see it? It's still nice. I don't know if we have to take the bump stop off.
Yeah, we have to take the bump stop off. Now, when we got this Jeep, the lift kit was already installed. I think we had the original bump stops on it. I think we've been hitting the fender before we've actually been hitting the bump stop. Let's give it a little spritz. We have the stiffener temporarily supported with the bolts from the bump stop. Now we are going to mark the frame stiffener where we need to drill some holes. Now the one that's going to give us a lot of grief is right here. We can't even see it. It's on the back side. So I'm going to attempt to line her up best I can. I'm looking at the side. It's about yay.
I mean, it's
Alright, let's drill this out, boy. Give it a little pokey poke, right? We're going to pretend that putting this PB blaster on is going to act as a coolant and lubricant. So our blade lasts a little bit longer than a second. So for now I made it so thick I can't see where the hole is. What? What?
The bit didn't even fall off.
What? No. No, that's not supposed to happen. That is not supposed to happen, Preston.
Does that mean we have to use another hole saw?
What the heck, Harbor Freight? Well, bummer. In Harbor Freight's defense, I probably was pushing a little too hard and going a little too fast. But that sucks. Alright, change of plans. We are going to use a step bit now.
We just started the hole.
Alright. Hi, puppy. Oh, slobber. The slobber. Oh, hi, puppy. Okay. Love you too. Oh, love you. Love you. Well, presto, we got everything lined up. We are just getting everything up and snug so we can mark where we need to grind off undercoat. Preston and I have the frame marked out where we need to start grinding away. Before we do that, we're going to do something else. What are we doing?
A measurement. Tappy tap.
A little tappy tap measurement? Okay. So I want to calculate what the frame stiffness is as is, and then what it's going to be with the frame stiffener to see how much stronger it really is. And future me is going to tell you about that right now. Future me here. I have the profiles of the unibody sketched out here in red, and then the frame stiffeners in blue, and some measurements I took. The unibody frame is about 1/8 of an inch thick. I can really get in there very well with the tape measure to measure, but roughly that. And then the thicknesses of the frame stiffeners are 3/16 of an inch. So before we start diving into the numbers and doing all the math, I think it's important that we get a basic understanding of the theory of what's happening here when it comes to deflection and stiffness. So I got some reference material here. This is something that we use in the world of structural engineering all the time. So this is a simple beam uniformly distributed load. Now, we don't need to focus on everything too closely here. This is just kind of getting an overview. So in the diagram, we have the length of the beam, or in our case, it would be the frame. We have W, which it would be the load, so that's like the weight of the vehicle itself, people inside the vehicle. And then R is where the supports are, so that'd be like our tires. Now we are going to ignore all of this right here and this right here, and we're going to focus on this equation right here, the delta. Now delta is referring to deflection. Now as we look at this equation, we see the W, which we are going to ignore because the weight of our vehicle isn't changing. Sure, we're adding a little bit more weight because of the steel we're putting on, but it's not enough to change anything. Our length of the vehicle, that's going to be the same. Sandbox isn't getting shorter or longer. So we can also ignore that. This 5 divided by 384, that's a coefficient. We're going to ignore that. And that brings us down to two key principles when it comes to deflection, and that is E and I. E is the modulus of elasticity, which is basically just a material property that refers to how a material can stretch and then go back to its original shape without permanently deforming. Now, steel is amazing when it comes to this. Steel has an E value of 29,000 KSI. And just to give you some perspective, concrete is about 4 to 5 KSI, and then wood would be 1 to 2 KSI. So as you can see here, there's a major difference here. And that's why we use steel for structures, because it's just an amazing material. So referring to this equation, E is on the bottom, or the denominator. So that means as your modulus of elasticity increases, your deflection is going to go down. But all that being said, our E is not changing. The steel on the sandbox, we're not changing it to something else. It's still steel. So we're going to ignore that. And that brings us down to the meat of it, and that's the I. Now I is what we refer to as stiffness, or the moment of inertia. Now, again, like E, I is on the bottom, so as your moment of inertia increases, your deflection will decrease. So, brings up the question, what is I? Well, let's go back to a profile of our frame stiffener. Now, long ago, somebody much smarter than myself came up with equations for determining I for regular shapes. Now, for a rectangle, I equals B times D raised to the third divided by 12. Now, in this little diagram I have here for reference, you can see B is the width, D is the height, and this is all in reference to the central axis of the shape. So D is raised to the third, and then divided by 12, which again is just a coefficient. So you can see that because D is raised to the third, as a member gets deeper,
its stiffness skyrockets. That's why in the world of structural engineering, whenever we have a beam, we always try to orientate it vertically to get more money for more bang for your buck. Okay, so I here. We need to calculate I for our unibody frame. Now this whole frame here has its own I with everything grouped together. But in order to calculate the group I, you need the individual I's. So I labeled here I1, 2, and 3 for reference. Now, because each of these little rectangles has its own I, we can use this equation and calculate those I's. But then we need how the I's work together as a group. And to do that, we need to know where the center of that shape is. So that's what these Y 1, 2, 3 refer to. That's just going down to the center or centroid of that particular shape. And then as a group, they're going to have a group Y or Y bar. So how do we get this Y bar? Now if we go back to some reference material I have, you'll see this equation right here. So basically we are taking, well, this is referring to a shape with two rectangles. So ours has multiple shapes, but this equation really is just saying the sum of the area of that shape times the y to its centroid plus shape, right? So it's really just a summation here. So you can have multiple shapes. So this will give us our y bar. We can then use that to get the moment of inertia for the entire shape about its neutral axis. So this right here. So this is the moment inertia of, let's call it shape 1, area of shape 1 times y bar minus the distance to that shape's specific centroid in squared. So to do this all by hand, you can do it. I don't recommend it because it'll take a while. So I made a spreadsheet to quickly run through the numbers. So this is referring to the part number. Go back to our diagram, 1, 2, or 3. Then we got the width of that particular shape, the height of it, the area, which is just b times d, the y, so that's just whatever measurement is to the centroid, and then we're taking the moment inertia of that individual shape, so b times d raised to the third divided by 12, and then we are taking the area of the shape times the distance to its y, and that's what this is for the unibody. So the y bar, again using this equation here, is 1.9 inches. So going back to our shape, this is 1.9. So that is where this shape is in equilibrium. Back to Excel spreadsheet. And then using this equation, so this right here, this is the answer we're looking for. This is the moment of inertia about its central axis for the unibody. And it's 11.5 inches to the fourth. Okay, so keep that number in mind. So now that we have it for the unibody frame at that particular location, we need to do the same thing for the unibody frame with the frame stiffeners. So it's just the same process again, except for now we're adding in the frame stiffeners. You throw those in there, you're going to get a new Y bar. It's going to get pushed down a little bit more because you have more steel towards the bottom. So you throw those numbers in, and I have them here in blue for reference. You're going to get a new Y bar. So our Y bar dropped by a little bit, 0.2 inches. And then you go through the same process, and you get a new moment of inertia of 16.8 inches to the fourth. So what does that mean? We were at 11.5, now we're 16.8. That means we increased about 47%, or we'll call it 50%. So our unibody frame is now 50% stronger at that location with the frame stiffeners, which is pretty amazing if you ask me, to be able to, just throw some plate on there and you get a 50% gain. All right, back to past me.
Now, I should point out that the frame stiffness is variable along the Jeep because the geometry changes. So what it is right here will be different over there. But at least you get an idea of how much stronger it really is. Gonna give the backside a quick spray of primer so it won't rust in the future. Preston and I are back in the garage. It's day 2. We're gonna get this stiffener welded on. We're gonna use the bolts for the bump stop and also the rear bumper to help hold it in place while I'll get it set up. See what I'm doing, or is it? I have to say, I'm quite impressed that we got these bolt holes lined up first try. That was amazing. Dropping little dust particles in my eyes. So we have it bolted up there. I'm gonna check to see if there's any spots where we need to put a C-clamp on it, but at a glance, it seems to fit fairly well.
We put C-clamps on it.
Yeah, we got some C-clamps on there. Why did we do that?
To make it where it's tighter.
Yeah, we got it nice and tight, so there's no gap for welding. Alright, I'm stuck. I need to get out. Ugh. This really makes me feel like an old man. Preston and I just tried to do some welding. What happened, bud?
It ran out of gas.
Yeah, we ran out of gas. I'm not a very good welder, but man, it was like just splattering everywhere. I'm like, something's wrong. And lo and behold, we're out of gas. So we're gonna have to fill our tank up. So that's gonna be it for this day. Status report, it's a new day. Preston just got home from school. I went to the welding shop, upgraded our tank to a bigger size. Our regulator was actually bad, and that's part of the reason why we're out of gas. Got a new regulator from Harbor Freight. Got back to welding up these stiffeners. So Preston and I also have plans to do something.
I'm going to an off-road meet.
Yeah, we got our local 501 Jeep Club, so we're gonna hurry up and finish this up so we can go get some food. Trying to weld, and we have all this kindling trying to catch on fire. I'm gonna attempt to do some 1-inch stitch welds on the top. Honestly, it's gonna be really hard to reach that, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Well, up on the top, I can't even see what I'm doing because of the lip from the inner fender. So when you go to weld that, I guess it's just try to get what you can. A little bit's better than nothing. Preston and I are going to let that portion of the frame cool off. We're going to start putting on the other one. And to do that, we need to grind away some of the paint. You can clip that?
How much? I think just the end.
Go for it. It is yet another day. Status update. Preston and I lost a whole bunch of footage, unfortunately. Fortunately, though, the footage was of us painting the frame stiffeners. I don't know what happened. GoPros, you know, life happens. But I'll show you, hopefully, you can get an idea of what it looks like with them on and painted. So we got fender, it's all sprayed up, and the frame stiffeners with underliner spray. On top of losing the video, Preston and I also forgot to do some stuff. Like one, forgot to put on the gas funnel shield. So we forgot to do that, and also, I'm blinding myself. We forgot to put the bump stops on. So we're gonna try to do that real quick. Unfortunately, on this side, we sheared off one of the bolts in the holes. So we're gonna have to drill that out and retap it and all that fun stuff. But Preston and I are gonna go off-roading, so we're gonna just stick one of them on here and hope for the best until we get that taken care of. Because we don't have any tapping tools. The rear driver's side, where the gas goes in, we have the shield. It goes like this.
It covers
Yeah. So we have 2 bolts that go there and then 2 on the underside. Like the passenger side, we got it all sprayed with undercoating. Well, we are finished. We got the rear frame stiffeners welded on, painted on. We put back on the bump stops and the gas line shield we forgot about. And we can confidently say that our rear frame unibody area is about 50% stiffener with the frame stiffeners we got from Barnes 4-wheel drive. We still got these ones to put on, but we're going to do those in the future because that took a while and we want to go off-roading. We're actually going to go to the Ouachita National Forest here in a little bit. So we're going to prep for that. So until next time, ciao.
Artlist.io